Hi, today's repertoire subject is about the Hummel Trumpet Concerto in E. And I know it's often transposed to E flat, so we can play it on an E flat trumpet, but I really recommend doing it in E when you play it with orchestra. The reason is that orchestras sound much better when they play in sharps than they do in flats. So E major is a good key, E flat is not, especially when it goes to E flat minor. And I've always told my students that when you play with orchestra, you can make a really good orchestra sound average when you play it in E flat, but you can make an average orchestra sound really good when you play it in E. And I've recently published the orchestra score and parts for the Hummel in E, and I've also made a version in E flat. It's an interesting piece. Hummel was a really fantastic pianist, probably the most famous pianist in Europe, with the possible exception, the only competitor he had really was Beethoven. And Hummel, of course, was known for his elegant style of composition and playing. And the Trumpet Concerto was written for Anton Weininger, who's the same man who the Haydn Concerto was written for. Weininger played trumpet in Vienna and played in the Esterhazy Orchestra, which was conducted by Hummel and for a long time by Haydn. Hummel wrote the concerto in 1803 in December, and it was premiered on New Year's Day 1804. So Weininger had less than a month to learn the piece on the keyed trumpet, a newly invented instrument that he made, which was basically a natural trumpet coiled twice, so it was about standard length, and it had five or six keys on it, so it could play chromatically. And a very important instrument in the history of the trumpet, and also very important for this concerto. The concerto is one of the first that was for the fully chromatic trumpet. This edition that I made, which is also available with piano reduction, has several pages of program notes, which I think are worth reading, because the more you can understand about Hummel and about the piece, the more interpretation I think you'll be able to give to the music. So we have the standard edition in modern notation. I've also included a facsimile of the original manuscript. And so there's about 90 pages of original manuscript, and you'll see that Hummel made some changes. There are also some penciled changes, which we don't know if they were done by Weininger or Hummel or maybe somebody 100 years later. The original manuscript is in the British Museum, and here it's available along. You can buy the score only or buy the score and parts. So I'd like to encourage you to look at this so you have the original manuscript and to learn more about the proper interpretation of the Hummel. Hummel wrote a 500-page treatise, most of which was about ornaments. And so a lot of the ornaments that we have, trills and turns and so forth, are explained very well in his book. And I talk about that in my notes here. And you can also find a performance that I gave of the piece with an orchestra in Europe that's on YouTube. So I hope you'll enjoy that. Thank you very much.